Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're watching animated story time about somebody who changed from a boy to a girl.
Hi, my name is Jamelia, but that wasn't always the case. A few years ago, I was a completely different person.
Oh my god, wait, can we just look at how they look like a feminine boy? Also, why does that boy Loki look like me?
My name was Jamel, and I used to be a boy.
Okay, so I think the whole point of this animated story time is about somebody who is transgender. I'm actually really interested.
Now I'm a woman, and I love myself. But back then, well, let's just say I was very confused.
And that is the case with a lot of children. If you don't struggle from gender dysmorphia, then you won't understand what it's like. If you've ever struggled with your sexuality, you'll kind of know what it's like, but imagine that, but a bit worse because it's literally your gender. I do feel bad for people who suffer from it.
And didn't quite know what I wanted to do with my life. Let me start at the very beginning. I was born the only brother in a big family. I had 4 older siblings, all of them girls.
Wow, that is quite rare. I'm an only child, so I kind of wish I had a sibling, but then I'm also kind of happy that I don't. But they had 4 sisters. That's a lot of girls in the family.
I didn't even get to really know my dad. He passed away when I was just 5 years old. I don't really remember much about him, so you can imagine I had lots of feminine influences in my life growing up.
It genuinely breaks my heart whenever people lose a family member, whether it's a sibling or a parent when they're really young. I'm gonna be completely honest, I can't remember a lot of stuff from my childhood, especially whenever I was around the age of 5. So she doesn't remember a lot about her dad, and that must really hurt. Obviously memories happen, but she doesn't remember them.
My sisters all had names that began with J. Yes, my parents were those kinds of people.
So basically the Kardashians: Kim, Khloe, Kourtney, Kendall, and Kylie. Oh my god, that's a lot of K's.
Don't get me wrong, Mom was awesome, but I thought it was so cheesy. So we were Jasmine, Janice, Jennifer, June, and Jamel. Believe me, kids mocked us all the time in the neighborhood and at school.
I mean, you'd probably be looking at them and thinking that's the J family. My name is Connor, but apparently I was going to be called Adam. Could you imagine me being called Adam White?
It was kind of silly, but Mom thought it was so cute. Like all of us had something in common.
I mean, yeah, it is kind of cute. I feel like if I had loads of children, I'd probably all name them the same thing. Isn't it quite crazy how your parents literally name you and that name sticks with you for life unless you change it whenever you're older? Imagine your parents call you poo or I don't know, diarrhea.
In case you are wondering, yes, my mom's name begins with a J, and so did Dad's, Judy and Jimmy. I groaned just thinking how cheesy this all sounds. Anyways, my life was a bit peculiar, if you want to know.
Well, I do want to know, and that's the whole point we're watching this story time. Let's get into the animation.
Growing up with 4 older sisters was no walk in the park. Sure, they spoiled me rotten, but I was also basically their small doll.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot whenever people have older sisters. When I was really small, I used to always go to these girls' houses with my parents or friends with their parents. They used to always doll me up. I would literally be forced to be their little pet. I'm telling you right now, if I was a girl, it would not have happened to me, but because I was a boy, it happened to me.
They put makeup on me and little dresses. They thought it was so funny, and whenever they had slumber parties, I was basically the cute little entertainment. I never had a father figure in my life, or any kind of masculine influence. Everything was girly stuff.
I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest, I low-key love girly stuff. I don't like groups of girls because they chatter about each other and are really rude. But I'm into pretty feminine stuff as well.
What we ate, the games we played, what my sisters talked about, it was all girl related. I ended up being stuck doing whatever my 4 older sisters wanted me to. Since I was the youngest, I didn't really get a say.
Really? I'm gonna be completely honest, I thought it would have been the other way around. Usually in a family, the youngest one is always the most loved, and the oldest one's kind of loved, but the middle one is not loved. How did she not get her way whenever she was growing up?
And if we ever had a vote to decide anything, you can guess that I was always outnumbered. So I just began adapting to what they liked to do in order to be able to have some fun at all. They would convince my mom to keep my hair longish so that they could comb it into pretty styles when we were at home.
I don't know if they're gonna say what I'm thinking in my head, but if they're gonna say that because of the way the girls treated her growing up that made her transgender, I don't know if they're gonna say that. It's just it's something to get out there. I don't know if that would cause somebody to become trans. Would it? I'm not really an expert in that type of field.
They would also test their makeup on me. When the older sister, Jasmine, went to beauty school, who do you think was her guinea pig?
You.
Me, of course. She would have me sit there for hours. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I kind of enjoyed it, actually.
Well, then that's a plus. You enjoyed getting pampered up. I'd just be terrified of my skin breaking. I'm telling you right now, if they were putting makeup on my skin, I'd be scared of it breaking out. I once put face paint on my face and a tiny bit of makeup for a YouTube video. It ruined my skin, and it also really stung.
She was so delicate about it, and she'd talk to me and tell me all about her life. I felt she was so glamorous and cool. At school, I didn't really get along with guys my age, to be honest. first.
Literally same, like in school, all I was friends with were girls, not a single boy. And that's the same in secondary school, and even now, like I'm friends with more girls than what I am with boys.
They were all super into sports and things that I didn't think were too cool. I prefer hanging out with the girls instead, and I got along so well with them.
That is literally me. To be fair, probably was because I was kind of gay, but like I just like prefer to be around girls. I'm trying to think in my head. I never was really out with just boys. There was maybe like once or twice it happened. I was only ever with girls.
I think that most, if not all of my friends were girls. I would also give them great fashion advice, and they would ask me what to wear before going on a date. Boys always wondered why I never hung out with them, or why I didn't play football during the recess.
Probably because like you're not into that, like you wouldn't fit in. I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest, I would much rather hang out with my female friends and like gossip rather than playing football.
I preferred staying behind and playing with the girls or gossiping with them. No one really seemed to mind at first, but as I grew older, things seemed to change. Boys thought I was weird, and they'd mock me about being too feminine.
That is literally like me. Like this is literally about me. The person looks like me, except I'm not trans. I feel like a lot of gay people can relate to this.
They didn't understand why I always wanted to be surrounded by girls. Though my sisters had always applied makeup on me while we were inside our home, I began wanting to do it when I went outside.
They're starting to become a beauty guru. I love that. Also, can we talk about makeup on boys? There is still a stigma about it. I'm gonna be completely honest. Some of the makeup I see in boys looks absolutely amazing, and then some doesn't, but that's the same with girls. Some boys look really good with makeup on, and then some don't. I personally think I wouldn't suit makeup, especially eyeshadow, because I've got really hooded eyelids, so I literally don't have eyelids. But I mean, I'd say I've got a pretty good bone structure, maybe a bit of contour.
I started to paint my nails with my sister's polish and try different colors.
Whenever I was younger, I would get plastic straws, cut them up and stick them onto my fingers as well. I also got told off in school and got nail polish taken off me. I never actually got that back, and that was over 7 years ago.
It was so much fun, and I thought it looked so cute on me. I began wearing blush and eyeshadow when I went to school, and eventually even lipstick.
I wonder what the people in the school are gonna say. I went to an all-boys school, and I don't think you would have been allowed to wear makeup. I think in like mixed schools and girls' schools, you're allowed to wear a tiny bit. But what would it be like in like an all-boys school?
My sisters didn't see anything wrong with it. They had always been super supportive of me and my choices. They thought that if it was what I liked, then it was perfectly fine.
Exactly, and also she suits it, like she looks good in it. I feel like boys are definitely gonna have a go at her, and do you wanna know why? That's just typical boys. A lot of boys at that age just don't know what they're saying and don't know that whenever they say words it means stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I did get a tiny bit of a hard time in school from boys, but looking back at it now, they were young, and like a lot of them has changed now. Also, a lot of times if boys have a go at you for like your sexuality or wearing makeup, it's because they are insecure in their own, and I knew that for a fact because the minute I left school they all started DMing me.
The first time I did it though, it wasn't so easy, I'll admit it. I was using a pretty pink nail polish and covered my hands with mittens. I thought everyone could notice, but I don't believe anyone really did. When I got home, one of my sisters saw me take off my gloves. I hid my hands in my pockets, thinking that she would call me weird.
Why would your sister literally call you weird? Like, they literally pamper you up. It's honestly so cute that she's got like a supportive family that like support her. It's honestly the cutest thing ever.
Instead, June hugged me tightly and she told me I never had to hide who I really was. Later that night, she told the rest of our siblings about it. They were all so supportive, and it was then that I understood that I could be open about who I was around them.
Exactly, be open. Like, whenever you hide stuff about yourself, it's always gonna come out. You can try to hide something, but like, it won't be able to be hidden forever. It will eventually have to come out.
This confidence grew every passing day until I decided I was brave enough to wear makeup and nail polish outdoors. Showing off my feminine side in public felt right. It felt like I had been hiding for far too long, and now I could finally let the whole world know who I was.
I mean, they look good. Like, look at them. That makeup looks good. That lipstick looks good. That blush looks good. They suit makeup. I personally wouldn't, but like, I love their nails.
People stared my way, mostly guys. They asked themselves what was going on with me. Sure, I hung out with girls, that was one thing, but wearing makeup and painting my nails was so different from everything they had seen.
Exactly, and I feel like that's where guys start to have a go at you. You always do have to keep in mind that whenever they are young, they are obviously gonna say stuff. I don't know how old the person is in this video.
We lived in a small town, and most guys were really manly. Everyone expected men to like football and beer, as well as get super bored when their girlfriends and wives went out shopping.
Why would you literally get bored? Shopping is so fun. Sometimes it is boring, I won't lie. Like, I have went out shopping with my friends and it's really boring. But like, if you're going shopping, like, it's actually kind of fun.
But I loved shopping, and having my hair done sounded like a great plan for a lazy Sunday. So believe me when I say that a guy like me wasn't well received. I had to deal with a lot of bullying at school, and male students students called me all kinds of nasty names.
Exactly, that's what it's like to be like an LGBT person in school. I never came out in school because like I was scared. Like I got harassed a lot because I was a social media kid. It would have been 10 times worse if I was like the gay kid as well.
I won't repeat them here, but you can imagine what I'm speaking about. They told me that I was a girl and that I should begin acting like a man, that boys didn't wear makeup and we didn't paint our nails either. And if they ever discovered I was actually wearing girls' underwear underneath my pants, I'm sure they would have completely lost it.
I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest, I probably would have been into it. Like I said earlier in the video, a lot of times whenever boys act like that, it's because they're insecure about themselves. It's so funny because back in school, the boys who would have the most to say about me were the ones that literally were like obsessed with me.
My sisters told me I didn't have to let those cruel boys get to me. If they wanted to talk, let them talk. No one could make me feel bad without my permission. It wasn't easy to ignore them though. The jokes were so cruel and mean-spirited. They told me that because I hung out with girls so often, I was turning myself into one.
Exactly, like it does get you eventually. And also in my situation, teachers would literally jump in the jokes and rumors as well. Like think about that, it was awful.
They also began noticing that I never went on a date with any woman. All my female friends were just that, friends. I felt like a girl and wanted to become one. In order to be approved for the procedure, I needed to have several sessions with the shrink, and he needed to report that it was really in my best interest.
Okay, I don't know what a shrink is. Is that like a transitional doctor?
My therapist explained that in order to be approved for the surgery, I had to spend a period of time actually living as a woman. That was when I began dressing as one 24/7.
Okay, I can kind of understand that, but then I also don't. If somebody's gonna go for surgery and like book it in, it's obvious that they want it. So I kind of understand if that's a thing, but then I also don't. Like, yeah, they might want to give it a go to see what it's like to like be in female clothes, to see if they like it or if like their feelings change. It's like the last thing you want is to get all this surgery and then realize, oh my god, maybe it's not for me.
My sisters helped me buy pretty dresses and a wig. I felt so feminine. It was amazing. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was finally acting the way I was meant to. Plus, in the big city, people didn't seem to find me so strange.
Exactly, like in big cities like LA, London, they're so like accepting, especially in New York. So I live in like a kind of small town, so it's kind of accepted, but then there's also a bit of a stigma still. Like if you ever go to a big city, you'll see all types of people.
There, plenty of guys felt the way I did and dressed like women just like I did. It was such a relief to meet others that shared my questions and struggles. I wasn't romantically interested in any of them, so they began calling me other nasty names. To them, a guy who liked other men was disgusting.
That is a typical boy thing to think. A lot of boys would think that in school, but now that they've like grown up, a lot of their views have changed. It is a thing that like most boys probably will think, which isn't okay, and I don't agree with it. If they ever do call you names like that, just know that they probably don't mean it. And a lot of the times they just try to look tough in front of their friends.
I didn't understand why they cared so much. It wasn't as if I was going to force them to go out with me or anything like that. Believe me, the moment I saved up enough money after high school was over, I moved to a bigger city, a place where guys like me weren't so unusual. Two of my sisters moved with me, and we rented an apartment together. It was so cool, and we had so much fun together.
I just love how like the family's so supportive, but it also does make me really sad to think that not all families are like this. There are families that will literally kick their children out if they're bisexual, gay, transgender. Like it's actually quite like heartbreaking.
While I was at college, I began seeing a therapist in order to go through a gender reassignment surgery. The surgery was really expensive, but I had the full support of all my family. Mom paid for more than half of it, and I managed to complete the rest of the cost with my savings and gifts from my sisters. You can't imagine how much I loved them all right then. I wouldn't have been able to go through with it without their support.
Honestly, and that makes me so happy that like the family's so supportive. It is so sad that like these surgeries do cost a lot of money, and I personally believe that NHS should be doing them for free. If you break your nose and you need a nose job, the NHS covers it. But I swear if you're gonna like transition and get corrective surgery, you have to pay for it on your own. I don't agree with that. Like I genuinely think it should be like free.
Not only financial aid, mind you, they were there for me every step of the way, and they gave me the strength to make hard life choices. A year after the surgery, I was able to legally change my name to Jamelia.
If you could change your name to any name, what would it be? I'm not gonna lie, whenever I was younger, I low-key wanted to be called like Jay or JJ. That's like such a cool name to me.
I know that my mom would have never forgiven me if I took a name that didn't begin with a J. She was more than happy for me to become a girl, but family tradition couldn't be messed with.
I mean, yeah, I kinda agree with your mom. Like, don't change your name to something that isn't a J. There's so many J names out there. Julia, Jennifer, Janela.
All my closest friends were there for me as well. Though the recovery period after the surgery was very painful, everyone helped me through it. They got me my meds and even cooked for me when I felt too weak to get out of bed.
Okay, so I'm not not tearing up. My eyes do this every single time I film a video. I don't know what's going on with my eyelashes, but like one of them gets into my eyes and then like I start tearing up, so I'm not crying.
I consider myself fully a woman nowadays. My hair is long and I have a very curvaceous body. I'm dating this amazing guy. My mom absolutely loves him, not only because he is a sweetheart, but because, you guessed him, his name also starts with a J.
Oh my god, I love that. This is literally ticking every single box in your mum's list. Also, can we talk about the surgery part? Whenever it comes to surgery, it's so like, it's dangerous. Whenever you do get any type of surgery, whether it's a nose job, liposuction, anything, it's dangerous. And it's also very painful. Like, she will be in pain probably for months. But I mean, as long as she's safe, happy, and the surgery went well, then I guess I'm fine.
It sounds so strange, doesn't it? But he's the right guy for me. When he found out that I wasn't biologically born a girl, he didn't care at all. To him, I'm a woman now, and that's all that matters.
Oh, that's so sweet. But sadly, that's not how it always goes. Obviously, I'm not trans, so like I can't really speak for trans people, but if you are trans, I would always let the person know that like you are trans, because there are men who will find out eventually and they will try to kill you. Like, it is quite a dangerous thing. So always be open and honest, and if you don't feel like you can be open and honest with them, if I were you, I would just let them be and leave them alone.
I work as a makeup artist, just like Jasmine. She's taught me so much and helped me pay my way through beauty school. Lately, I've been considering if I should start a YouTube channel doing makeup tutorials, but I'm not too sure about it. I don't want to receive nasty comments in my feed.
Babe, just filter the comments. Like, there's filters, you can turn comments off. If there's a certain word, which obviously T-slurs that you don't want to be called, you can literally filter it. So if somebody does comment that, then it'll not come through.
At the same time, I feel like I can help a lot of people who have been in my same situation. So, what do you think?
Babe, I think you should just make a YouTube channel. Anyways, guys, that is the end of the video. I do want to say, I feel like this wasn't written by a trans person. I do feel like this was written by a straight woman. At the start of the video, they tried to basically say that because she didn't have a father figure and that she was brought up very feminine, it meant that she was trans. That could be the case in some cases, but the majority of the time it isn't. It is just a thing deep inside you. It doesn't matter what your childhood's like, you'll always have them feelings. Anyways, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, press the big red subscribe button, and yes, I'll see you all in my next video.